Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Afro Live. I am just so ecstatic to be here chatting with the amazing, and you guys know this is our theme this month, woman who wins herself, Miss Keesha Boyd, who is the executive director of multicultural TV and film with Comcast. But I need y'all to know she is a barrier breaker, a just visionary, and I loved reading about her and her story and all that she's done to really elevate Comcast and their already very intentional diversity efforts. I I'm just so happy to have her with us today. And so I had to say that first in my introduction, Keisha.
Well, thank you. I am equally as happy to be here with you today. All of your energy, I need that today. It's kind of dreary in Philadelphia, so I'm loving it.
I'm giving it to you all the way. I have to admit, I am reporting live today from sunny, warm Houston, Texas.
Really?
Yeah, I'm here for a conference, but I let's just say before we got on, if I'm patting away sweat, it's because I was able to take a beautiful run and walk. Like I,
I'm
I,
not mad. I'm not
I'm
mad.
appreciating the beautiful weather, so I'm giving that energy
I
and the
receive it, Misha. I receive it.
yes, yes. Okay, so we know that this is going to be some Black girl magic, some fun, but we got to get down to business and the nitty gritty of things as well. And so this is the first 1 year anniversary of the launch of the Black experience on Xfinity. I am an Xfinity customer and just have to say it has like made this pandemic wonderful for me as I'm catching up on things. And so I want to first of all sort of hear about what you do in your journey and your role as an executive director, but sort of how the Black experience on Xfinity came to be as well.
Thank you. Thank you. Great starting question. I will tell you. So for Comcast, I lead a team responsible really for representing the voices and the audiences of kind of the cultural groups that we're really leaning in on right now, which is Black audiences, Latino audiences, Asian American, and international. And essentially, what me and my team do is we think about what are the content consumption habits, interests, needs, right? What is it that these audiences want that is particular to them from an entertainment perspective? And then how do we use sort of the breadth and depth of our content platforms to really super serve these audiences? So that might mean on any given day, we are talking to a network. Maybe it's a TV1, an Aspire, a BET, a Telemundo, you name it. You name the network, we're talking to them. It might mean we're talking to a studio. It might mean we are, in this case, since we've just launched our Black Experience channel, it might mean we're talking to creators or a particular top Black film festival or a top Latino film festival. Like this work is all about content and entertainment and the power of content and entertainment to super serve audiences like these.
Amazing. And I know again, Comcast Xfinity has been very intentional for years about diversity, about highlighting it from Black and entrepreneurs of color all the way as you're talking about to the content and the work that you do. Can you tell us a little bit about why your company has been so incredibly intentional in that work and why it's important for the larger world to sort of experience the Black and brown experience, if you
Right?
will?
I think what's interesting is, so I've been with Comcast for quite some time, probably going on maybe over 10 years now for sure. And one of the reasons that I've been here for this length of time is because diversity and inclusion and equity is a part of the Comcast DNA. And before it was, before all brands were sort of really leaning in, Comcast was always always thinking about these audiences, because these are the audiences that we serve. We're in the service business, right? And so a large part of what we do has to reflect the communities that we serve. And so you see that from our employee population to the neighborhoods that we're in, to the efforts and initiatives that we launch. There, it's really about identifying, okay, how can we take these major platforms that are so important to connecting people to what matters in their lives, and make sure that they feel personal, they feel real, that our customers feel seen on these platforms. And that's really how we've been able to kind of continue leaning in. And each year we get a little bit better, right? We No one started off doing it great, right? But each year we've gotten better, we've invested more, we've expanded our resources to support it, we've learned, we've tested, and I'm excited to see that we're at a place now where everything is really starting to kind of come together in a really, really big way around the content side. We, from a product side, have always been focused on things like closing the digital divide, right? And how that shows up disproportionately in Black and Brown communities. And so we had launched Internet Essentials some time ago. We've got other programs that we've done in the same vein. And now here we are looking at entertainment at a time when Black and Brown audiences are looking for themselves on TV. Right? We're looking for representation. We are, looking to be seen. We're looking for our stories to be told by us, to be authentic. And so I'm just excited to be here at a time when we as a company are ready to kind of lean into that. And that's pretty much, what we're doing.
Absolutely. And you touched on this a bit, but I'm going to just uplift this in a major way. You have been a major part of this driving force of bringing this change to the industry and ensuring that all of our stories are being told and uh, really spotlighted and highlighted, of course, on your platform, but even further within the media industry, we're seeing that others are taking note. And so I'm curious why that is something is that's near and dear to your heart, other than just being an amazing Black woman.
Yeah.
But also, I think a lot of people who tune into our lives are in places where they're not positive how they can use what they are able to bring to the table. They're not sure how they're able to, or in an environment where they're not sure that their voices are valued. And it seems like you brought that to the table whether they cared or not. So I'm curious, why it's so important to you, but also how we can sort of have that same ability
Yeah.
to bring some change in our fields as well.
Yeah. I remember when I first started feeling that itch, and probably everybody has felt this at some point in your career, or maybe if anyone who's watching this might be feeling it now, where you sort of start to feel like, you know what, I have more to give. I have more to give. I can contribute more and be even more valuable. Um, if I was working on something that connected even more deeply to something that I'm personally very passionate about. And so I had gotten to a point in my career where I was feeling like, all right, I love what I do. Or I should say, I'm excited about what I do and I'm trained to do what I do. But there's this other thing over here that I've always been tangentially, interested in doing. My background is organizational development and organizational psychology with a concentration in race, culture, and cultural identity. So I've always kind of been studying these audiences and how they feel about themselves and identity from that perspective, more of a psychology perspective. But from an entertainment space, entertainment was always just, I'm an entertainment enthusiast. And me and my best friend at one point, we had started a digital magazine together where we focused on kind of the media consumption habits of Black women. And really, it was that passion and sort of nurturing that passion on the outside of the company that I started to realize, okay, maybe there's a way where I can kind of bring these worlds together. And Comcast had just started getting into the multicultural space. We were really leading the way with a bicultural, bilingual experience with our voice remotes and so forth. And at that time, I wasn't on the entertainment side of the business. And I said, oh, you know what? I wonder if anyone is doing anything specific for Black audiences, right? And so some of this is really just about, scanning the horizon to see, is there an opportunity where you might be able to bring more of yourself to the work that you're doing and also solve an opportunity for the company. And at that time, really all companies saw Black audiences as a part of general market, which in large part we are, but we are also, a culture in and of ourselves. And there are nuances and differences and insights that any company or brand should be aware of and mindful of if you want to be able to connect in an authentic way. And so really what I did, Misha, was raise my hand and said, that's the thing I would like to do. And I think there's a business value there. And so, by taking the time to really suss out what that business impact could be, really identify that this is a thing that could help benefit the business, not just something that benefits me personally, right? And it was from that point forward that, the company really just sort of rallied around and said, all right, let's point this in the right direction, Keesha. What should we be doing? Where's the data that supports this? How do we dig in deeper? What do we need to do? And really that's just how it built. It built and built and built from there. And what I learned about myself, Misha, when you asked personally, why is this something that I want to do? I got to a point where I realized that in this entertainment space, a lot of people will say, oh, it's just TV, it's just movies, it's frivolous, right? But it's not frivolous, right? It's not frivolous. Imagery and programming and how you see yourself on screen, what you see on screen, what's presented on screen is salient. It stays with you, and it can influence you. It can motivate you. It can demotivate you. It can do a lot of things, right? And so, because of that very fact, I think programming, particularly for communities of color who have historically been sort of left out of the Hollywood narrative, it is that much more important that some of those past wrongs are sort of course corrected. And so here we are now, and all the major studios and television brands and so forth are now leaning in and seeing these audiences and making these changes. And personally, one of the things that is like almost like a mission, if you will, for myself, is about how do we create more opportunities around economic equity for creators of color. And so that's why I'm super excited that Comcast is offering this $1 million grant for emerging creators, and that we're leaning in and really investing in emerging creators and putting dollars into the pockets of these creators to continue telling stories and hopefully continue to be seen and continue to grow, so that this becomes sort of the last vestiges of old world Hollywood, where we were not necessarily included. This is the last vestiges of that. How do we start to own our stories, tell our stories, and have big companies and big media brands invest in us?
Absolutely. That's so inspiring. I'm getting all the feels. I can't wait to go back and watch this again and just sort of continue to process how we all have a role and responsibility to figure out how what's missing in whatever world we're in and how we can contribute to it. So one of the things that excites me, and you talked about it are the many content creators that you guys have funded and organizations that you've reached out to and providing this platform for them. Can you tell us a little bit about, again, why that was an important part of the venture with the Black experience on Xfinity, but also sort of what that's done for these content creators and organizations?
Yeah. It was really, really important for us to focus on the emerging creators, really because there's this narrow pipeline to get your film in theaters or on a major streaming platform. The pipeline is narrow, and oftentimes you have to, know someone, or maybe you have to have been in the business for a long time, or maybe you have to bump into some really good luck. I mean, it's there's no linear path to this creation space. It's often circuitous. It's often not not sort of it's not mapped out, right? And so because of that, it makes it even harder for creators of color to be seen, to be found, and to be heard. And so, what we wanted to make sure we were doing, here we have this platform that's in millions of homes across our footprint, and it can actually be used as a platform, right? It can be the space and place where we find and discover those new voices, give them their first distribution opportunity, right? Mini distribution opportunity, major distribution opportunity, whatever, their first distribution opportunity. And maybe a major studio sees that piece of content. Or maybe the next creator gets inspired by the work that they put together, right? Um, and really that's what it's about. It's about how do we create opportunity and space for those creators and really sort of pay it back to that creative community. And what we've seen, I mean, so far is, each, it's like when one person sees one person's work, then it becomes oh, you know what, maybe I should work with that person, maybe I should check out this person. We've got creators like Deborah Riley Draper, who did a phenomenal job with our first Black experience original called 20 Pearls, about the first Black sorority, the AKAs. And okay now, Misha. Now,
You
see,
know I had to represent for my girls, okay?
listen, you better, because Deborah, listen, she did an amazing job with that film. And we really chuckled on that one because I'm a Delta, but we had a lovely time talking about the fact that, listen, look, we came together to get this film out. And what was amazing about that was her film was seen by several women who were not Black women. These were white women who saw the film, and they were a part of a sorority that they had been in for a very long time. And when they saw the story that Deborah put together and saw how the Black sorority at that time was involved in the women's suffrage movement, it was a history lesson for them, right? And so it's those sorts of moments that I live for. This notion that when you put forth content that is told by emerging creators, stories that haven't been told before, you never know whose mind you're going to open up because of that story. We've got several other young creators. Shayla Raquel is one. She did a fantastic film called Rivermond, and that was distributed through Homestead Entertainment, who is also a startup Black distributor who we brought on. They're the first Black distributor that we're working with. And so it's actually just been really incredible. Tilt Shift Media did a story for us called Avenues of Dreams, which was about MLK Boulevards, and really opening up that story about redlining and how that impacted our communities. So, so for me, it's exciting. We've got so much more in the pipeline coming out this year. The COVID sort of slowed down some production, but we're excited to get a few new projects out the gate this year. One coming up later this year that I'm super excited about. I won't tell you right now, but Misha, you're gonna love it. Okay, you are going to love it. So it's been fantastic to really just see the impact of these stories.
Awesome. And you have to come back and tell us what these new projects are coming up. But just quick anecdote, I've seen 20 Pearls several times. Absolutely love it. I mean, I think even if I weren't a member of this sorority, I would cry every single time just because, as you said, it opens not only your mind, but I mean, really sort of your heart and pathos and ethos in a way of understanding, like, Black women have been leaders of absolutely everything, and really on the forefront of so many issues that have changed the fabric of American history. I mean, I learned so much watching 20 Pearls, and
Same.
yeah, just so good. And shout out to Felicia Rashad, who is like just the narrator of my life, I think, anyway.
All our lives, Misha.
Yeah.
All our lives.
Yes. So, shifting sort of gears into your other world as a member of Delta Sigma Theta sorority, and as a, just again, barrier breaking Black woman, you are a mentor to others. And so I want to hear a little bit about why you have taken it upon yourself to help the next generation of just people who are doing great things in general,
Yeah.
and some of how that sort of informed your work as well.
Absolutely. Mentoring is something I take really, really seriously. I love, love, love to do it. I think it also pulls a little bit from my former days as a psychotherapist. But what I love about mentoring is the ability to help equip the next generation with something that maybe you didn't have when you were first coming in. And what I'm finding is happening a lot now, particularly within the Black community, maybe in others as well, is that there are lots of mentors out there for entrepreneurs, lots and lots of mentors out there for entrepreneurs, which is fantastic. And I'm loving seeing all of these Black owned, women owned, Latina owned businesses, being stood up, and all of these young folks really leaning into their, business savvy and becoming entrepreneurs. And what I found was that, individuals who decided that they wanted to go the corporate route and achieve success and in business that way, don't necessarily have mentors at the ready. And this terrain is tricky to navigate if you don't have a mentor, right? And so what I decided was that I really just wanted to make myself available for, young people. A lot of my mentees have been Black and brown, but I mentor anyone. But essentially to help them navigate corporate America, to understand, how to build relationships, how to read the tea leaves, right? How to show up with executive presence, how to know that you're getting a no when you're trying to get a yes, and how to turn that around, how to manage your emotions in the workplace, and how to with vigor sort of climb that corporate ladder and get yourself to a space where you're in senior leader positions with P&L responsibility, and maybe eventually one day going on to be on a public board. We need success in all areas, Misha, right? Success as entrepreneurs, success in corporate America, success in public boards. Um, we need we need to be present in all spaces and places, and that's not just Black community. That's everyone. We need inclusivity in all of those spaces and places. And so, for as long as I've been in corporate America, I feel like that's the one thing that I can give back to young people who are looking to create a career of success in corporate America. Yeah.
I love that. Y'all, I told y'all Keisha Boyd was inspiring and that you were going to love it. And so I have to tell all of our viewers, first of all, thank you for tuning in. But remember, sharing is caring. I know that I'm not on Barney, but it's still important, right? We have to share this stream. Our village needs to know not only about the Black experience on Xfinity, which they need to know about, but but also about all of the wonderful things that and gems that Keisha's sharing today. I mean, I have chills. I'm sure y'all do out there. And so why don't you share it with your village, and give them some inspiration? I also have to shout out Comcast for the great work they have been doing in support of the Black press, and particularly the Afro American newspapers. We
Hey now.
Yes, yes, yes. We so love you all and appreciate all your support. And very shameless plug. We are next week highlighting Black women in business through our Black Business Matters Expo. Women Who Win is the theme. We're so excited. The lineup is crazy. If we have some time at the very end, oh, look at Dana. I love her. So yes, shout out to Backstage. Yes, thank you, Dana, our amazing producer, who is ensuring that you guys know it's March 24th, and it'll be great. It's free registration, so why not? We can learn from amazing leaders who are out there showing us that women not only can bear the children, but really, as Beyonce said, get to business. Okay. Look, I have to just again highlight Keisha Boyd as a true woman who wins, and thank her so much for her time today. I'm sorry, I always promise 20 minutes and it's never 20. I have to ask you at least one more question, which, for those folks out there who are like, how do I get involved with the Black experience on Xfinity? I have Xfinity, I have Comcast. How can I be a part of this? Can you share with the people how they can tap in, get involved, and learn all that they need to know about the Black Xfinity on a Black experience on Xfinity?
Absolutely. So, first things first, if you are a creator or you know a creator, you want to visit that website, xfinityblackexperience.com, and put your email in on that website, because as soon as the submission window opens for the grants, so it's $1 million in grants, that's $100,000 grants. The grant program will open up, all the details about the criteria and so forth will be available. So put your email in at that website so that you can get that information when it's available. It's the first thing, and that'll be soon. So I encourage you to head on over there. And then if you are an Xfinity customer, you can just say Black Experience into your voice remote, or you can navigate to the Black Experience menu on demand. Just hit that on demand Xfinity button, scroll over to the right, and you will see everything on the platform that speaks to Black culture and identity. And that's really the point of the channel, which is also channel 1622. You can tune to it at any time. Really, the point of it is to create discovery. We know that Black people don't just watch Black content, so all the TV and movie content is there that you want to see at any time. And then when you're looking for content that speaks specifically to Black culture and identity, you can just say Black Experience into your voice remote, and you won't have to scroll down 100 rows to find a movie. It's all right there, curated for you by my wonderful team.
Absolutely. And again, I need to highlight the Black experience on Xfinity in so many ways, and all of the intentional diversity work that's being done through Comcast. No shade to the other voice assistant things that are out there. My DC accent gets pretty thick when I'm at home chilling, okay? And so sometimes it's Black experience on Xfinity. Oh, Black experience. And let me tell you, I'm gonna just shout her out. Miss Siri doesn't like my DC accent. Okay, Miss Alexa is not always a fan of my DC accent. They get the Black experience.
Okay.
The
Period.
Comcast remote knows my DC accent and does not have an attitude. I don't know if that was any at all part of the diversity.
It was
effort.
especially for you, Misha. It was
Thank
especially
you.
for you.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much, Keesha, and your team. Oh my goodness. I could talk to you all day. And
Same.
so I hope that you come back.
You got it.
Because, I know, and in this conversation you shared, there's so much that you all are up to. And so I again just thank you and uplift the work that you're doing. Is there anything else you'd like to share before we wrap?
You know what? No, I mean, happy Women's History Month to everyone, right? I always love this time of year. I like to roll right out of Black History Month into Women's History Month. I feel like it's just like 2 months of Black girl magic. So, all good. Just thank you for having me, Misha. Thank you for what you do and for creating a spotlight for people like me. I certainly appreciate it.
Well, thank you. I again just am so incredibly inspired. Again, guys, share this live with your village. It'll be here as long as Facebook and YouTube exists. And hopefully, there's some issues, but the link is going to be there forever. And so ensure that you share this live with your friends and family and village. All the people need to know about it. And again, to learn more, go to xfinityblackexperience.com. Again, thank you so much, Keesha Boy, for being with us today. Thank you, our viewers, as always, for tuning in. We could not do these kinds of things without you. And so, as always, I'm going to share, make sure, if you're not already, to become a member of the Afro as well by subscribing with us. And you can text Afro to 410-936-5002. Take care, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.